Hello Cities in Motion Exchange, I'm Pepperoni, and I'm here with the results of the CiMX Battle Royale save game Fiesta. There were 3 entries, all of which were on my map Pittsburgh, so I'm very excited to have the opportunity to review them. Now, just as a disclaimer, the results of the contest were determined by a panel of 3 judges, so what I'm saying is our common consensus and not necessarily my personal thought on each of the save maps. Also, I just wanted to say sorry for the Vegas notifications you're going to see that come up on the bottom. I'm still sorting out software stuff and licensing. So, without further ado, let's begin. Our first contender is Joe Blassie, as it's called on the save game file, also known as Joe the Dragon on the forums. So, the first thing we can notice is that he has a lot of different stuff set up around the center. Looking around, he's created some interesting custom roads and stuff. For example, this used to be a 6-lane road, as you're going to see at the beginning, and he's actually created some off-ramps to help with the traffic flow. In addition, we see that he has a lot of different bus lines, more than any other candidate. However, he doesn't quite have as many tram and metro lines as some of the others, and he doesn't utilize boats or trolley buses. So, getting a look at some of the traffic, we can see that there are sub-roads that are rather Now, as a manager of a transportation company, traffic should be one of your big concerns, as when you're trying to create these lines, your goal is to try to reduce congestion and get more people to ride public transportation. And as we could see here, there are a lot of areas of the map, first of all, that have a lot of traffic, but also ones that don't have any representation from public transportation, so it would be nice to see a bit more. However, we do have a lot of coverage around the center of the city, just like you would expect in real life, so I can't fault him very much for that. Our satisfaction is relatively good, however it's not as good as the other 2 candidates. Money seems to not be a problem, however again it's not quite as good as the other 2 candidates, so it's just another thing to keep into consideration when we're judging. So next up here we have Mo95, known both in-game and on the forums as such. Just looking on the side here, we can notice how many different lines he has. It looks almost like a rainbow of different things. And just looking around, it's almost chaotic seeing all the different stuff that's going on everywhere. There's tons of different metro lines every direction. Lots of trolley bus lines, trams, and buses. We can also see that city growth has been enabled, and there are a lot of different skyscrapers that have grown areas where they probably shouldn't have. For example, the area I'm showing you right now used to have stadiums in it in the original map, and it looks like it's actually kind of gentrified a bit, surprisingly enough, into office buildings, so that's kind of interesting. And also what we're going to notice here is that he has the most lines out of anybody. Most of them are trolley bus lines, and he has a lot of different metro lines connecting all the different areas of the city. And we can see how effective this is by looking at the traffic flow. There's almost no traffic problems anywhere on the map. Also looking at coverage here, we can notice that almost every single building is covered, with only a few sparse exceptions that are in certain areas, but for the most part every single area has at least some representation. So finally, last but not least, we have Anton, known in-game, and he's on the forums as Reuploading. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing that incorrectly. So anyways, first thing we're going to notice here is that we do have a lot of different types of transportation here. He's the only candidate who actually used ships, which I have to credit him for. And so he's used every single type of transport at least once. Also looking at the names at the bottom, we can notice that he's come up with custom names for a lot of his lines, which adds a lot of personal charm to the save map. We also have to credit him for just trying out so many different solutions, and while he may not have the coverage of all of the other candidates, he certainly has had the exploration and, the trial for making the map probably more realistic. Also, as we're seeing right here, he's created some interesting metro layouts, and while there is a little bit of traffic problems here, he managed to circumvent this by having all of these complex metro systems that meet in the center of the city. So, first up we had Joe the Dragon. He created a nice standard system with some good bus lines, a nice custom road design in some areas. However, it was a bit simple in some respects, and there were some problems with traffic and coverage. Next up we had Mo95, who created a comprehensive system combining coverage, profitability, and satisfaction. It was a bit eccentric at times and a bit unrealistic. Finally, we had Reuploading, who created a medium profitability and satisfaction network, but he created a lot of personal relevance to it because he named a lot of his lines and created some interesting layouts, as we've seen with the metro lines. He also used all types of transportation, so we have to credit him for that. However, it was not as comprehensive as some of the other systems. In summary, though, we have to say that the winner was going to be RauOCD for managing to combine everything to some degree while maintaining a sense of realism and respect for the actual city, since it is a real city after all. So, anyways, thanks for watching, and I would like to thank personally all 3 of the contenders for playing my map and creating some really cool systems, because they were all really nice. I'd also like to thank everybody here for watching on the forums, and hopefully you guys will, be participating in future contests, because I think that there's a lot of cool stuff that can happen in the game. So, yeah, thanks everybody, and see you soon.